Yeah, I'm having a hard time loading my stream. It's, you know, it's the rain wants to rain, then it doesn't want to rain, then it starts pissing down, rain stops raining. I'm sweating my butt off in here. And I got a cup of coffee here, so that's not special. But I've got some news for you. I'll tell you a lot of news, actually. I'm going to have to step outside just because it's so damn hot. I get a better signal out there, and they've cleaned off the table, so maybe I'll move out there. I'll just take a chance I get soaked in the rain. But welcome back to the program. It's much nicer in here, but it still hasn't loaded my... Man, I am cooking. Whew, I'm absolutely cooking in here. All right, so I think we're going to have to move, guys. We're going to have to move. You guys up with that? You guys ready for me to move? Because I'm getting nothing here in the signal. Yeah, okay, so, all right, here we go. Gotta move. Oh boy. So, let's see if it's still raining out here. Can't make up its mind whether it wants to rain or not rain. Let's see how that looks. Maybe it doesn't disappear. Anyway, it's a shame because I was charging my power bank and it's only at 38%. It takes hours to charge that damn thing. So after this, we got Ronaldo. And the car's nearby in case I have to run for the rain. So, which I might have to do still. All right, one thing at a time here. I'm coming back, guys. All right, since you like this microphone, I'm walking away from the everything going back inside and you can still hear me. Anyway, this is the UK. Welcome to the land of it rains all the damn time, whether you want it or not. Oh boy. Okay, let's get this stuff. A few more items here. Then I can come in and get my laptop. It's a shame because it's nice in here and it's quiet. There's nobody here. And it would have been nice to stay inside, but it's too damn hot. And I got no signals on my backup mobile, which, God bless it, which I use for the streaming on the laptop. Hey, how's you doing there? So I made a video a short while ago for those of you just tuning in about being hoodwinked by people who are charlatans. You need to be careful about that. It's a short, not a prepared video, so you'll have to go looking for it. But my point was that you need to be careful. There's a lot of charlatans out there, and they'll try to take your money. Actually, I think I can move this over to there. I don't know, I better not do that. I better just take it outside with me. Okay. Otherwise, somebody will walk with it. I'd like to leave it in here, but it's not working. So, all right. Are you guys staying patient on me there? I hope so. Now the problem is my phone's still getting a signal outside because I switched over to the other network. And see, one network, what's inside is thick glass, the other one doesn't. So hopefully the camera's still broadcasting as I'm chatting to myself here. And there we are. Oh, you saw the video about the imposters. Okay, good. So the mic was working. I figured that because that's off of Bluetooth. Now I'm outside. Okay. See if I can get the chat going here. Make sure I'm set up for the right Wi-Fi. By the way, the table surface is uneven, so it's a little hard to get the mouse to work. Anyway. Yep, it's set up on my mobile. Okay. Let's, mobile is good. There's the coffee. There's the earpiece for a little bit later. All that stuff. Okay. All right. But this is still not loading my live stream. What's going on here? All right. I got a lot of news, folks. 100% you're saying. Okay, cool. Make sure I didn't leave anything inside. Don't see anything. Hard to see through the glass. All right. Ooh, Courtney gave $2. Well, Courtney, that's the plan. I've got to get it set up for that, though. Why is it not loading this thing? Wow. This is crazy. Out here, I have how much better signal? I've got 3 bars. I had 1 in there, so, but it won't load the video. So it's very distracting. I want to start it. Yeah, I'm doing okay. As far as enjoying my time in the UK, I don't know, I guess. Just, I'm busy doing content and not getting rewarded for it. I'm doing lots of content, so, because I don't have much time to travel places. So this is just not loading. Very irritating. Anyway, let's see how the sippy cup's doing. Is Ronaldo here? I heard somebody say hello to Ronaldo earlier. Mark Queen Lodge just gave $5 super chat. Thank you. Clouds are gathering, and they are. They're gathered. They're overhead right now, just ready to dump on me. So I'm on top chat. I want live chat. There we go. Come on. Faster. There you go. Right. Okay, so we got, there's Courtney gave $2. No work on September 30th. Okay. Silent Bob. Hey, where's Jay, Silent Bob? I applied 14 May, still nothing. Friends applied 12 May, are flying out in 2 weeks. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Male Democrat. Mandy von Royen, Ian Moon, Garrett Gillich, Sylvia Oosthuizen, Martin van der Meven, Mr. Candu, Jacinta Smith, Sam Reed, Arena Watt. Welcome to everybody, 354 people. You're all finding me now. It took only 3 weeks for people to start to realize that we're doing live streams here in the UK, and I've been pretty close to our broadcast time. So I could have started sooner, but I was trying to make sure I had a signal, plus people were sitting in the spot where I normally would want to get near to an exit. So anyway, even better than Ron Pose's Parliament experience. All right, well, this is not loading. I don't know why, so I'm just going to try to reload it over here. It's loading the chat, but it isn't loading the video. I don't want the video, but if it keeps trying to load, it interferes with my stream. So just trying to get the load the video, and then I can pause it, and then it doesn't cause any problems when you pause it. Well, there's a big old clouds are gathering. Ludwig just gave from retrenchment payout. You got retrenched. Oh, man, that sucks. Being made redundant is never fun. Thank you for the clouds are gathering. There, 350 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. Reset YouTube, subscribe, was not getting notification. Yeah, that happens, Ian. That happens. You watch my daughter. She's been asking the whole day if you saw it. I did. And thank her for it. It's very kind of her. This is very irritating for me. I can't stand this. Come on. Oh my gosh. I don't want that thing to play. Anyway, John Spence gave 30 for the first call day. My heart dropped. Strange enough, it was PRM, and I was asked if there's children 21 and not 18. Okay. Well, legal age of consent, legal age for adulthood is 18 in the States, but I guess with the program they're being generous up to 21. The reason for 21 is that, oh my gosh, this is very irritating. Let me try to switch over to, okay, it's not connected to the VPN because the VPN is part of the problem half the time. Let me see if I can connect to the Wi-Fi here in the store. Costa, see if that helps because this is really annoying. Sorry, folks, got a lot of news to get through here. Just got to make sure I can get to it. Okay. No, stop it, damn it. Stop this damn VPN. There we go. All right, I'm going to connect now. Come on, there you go. I disabled the frickin', it's like Microsoft. It does what the hell it wants to do, this frickin' VPN. Don't have this problem at home. It never does this crap. All right, are we loading? Okay, here we go. Got the chat back. Still waiting on the video. Why is it so hard to get the damn video? I don't understand that. Andre, I'm okay. Just annoyed by the weather. Amanda, how are you? This looks like the video is simply not going to load. I don't understand what's going on there. And I'm sorry, folks. It's incredibly, I can't just remove the chat and look at it elsewhere. It's very disturbing, and I can't even minimize it and see it. So maybe I can do this. I can put it over here, and then I'll have to see it. Okay, there we go. Cool. The problem is if it starts finally getting the damn video, then it's going to eat up all the bandwidth. So I'll put it over here. All right. Yeah, so South Africa claims that they're heading back to the United States to try to make a deal. Yeah, well, you haven't ever been there to make a deal other than when Ramaphosa went. And by the way, MK is trying to get John Steenhuisen, the white Minister of Agriculture, and Ramaphosa in trouble for being treasonous. Because Steenhuisen said that the reason we joined the government was to keep those radicals out of government. He's calling that treasonous. So here's a news flash for you MK lunatics. John Steenhuisen, not a person I spent a lot of time defending, has every right in the world to say the reason that his party joined the government is to keep wackadoodles like you out of government. That's not treason in South Africa. You are not South Africa, MK. You charlatans, you fake tin soldiers are not South Africa. You are not South Africa, you dingbat doorknobs. Saying that they kept your sorry asses out of government is not treasonous in South Africa. It's the truth. Of course, it didn't really matter because the National Democratic Revolution is in force. It's all happening. It's all happening. Still not loading that video for some reason. Wow. Why is that? Really weird. Anyway, well, I won't worry about it for now. We'll get back to the chat in a little bit after we get through some of the news. So maybe it'll pop up in an hour or so. Yeah, but South Africa says they're sending a delegation back. They sent officials to the United States to prepare for trade negotiations after attempting for months to strike a deal. They haven't attempted to strike a deal for months with Trump. That's a lie. I'm sorry. Listen, it's from Reuters. Reuters, very disappointed for you to say that. When have they? Give me the dates that South Africans tried to work a deal out with the Americans, and they were in Washington, D.C., like the Koreans and Japanese were. Give me a date. Somebody. Anybody? You can't, because it never happened. Yadi Botsov, welcome to you. Do you have perhaps any feedback from Morgan at PetLift? No, Morgan is sick and was unable to speak last night. She's under the weather. So we were supposed to talk last night, and she's ill. So I'm still working on that. In the meantime, I heard from people. Listen, let me tell you something, guys. Okay, and if anybody's watching this, and if you think this refers to you, it doesn't, because it's multiple cases combined into one. But you need to understand something. When you go to America, and you've been there for a couple of days or for a week, and you don't have everything dropped in your lap, you need to stop panicking. Okay. There are some things to be worried about. When you arrive, you should be put in temporary location. Within a week or two, you should be able to move on to a place, and you should be getting assistance. If you're not, okay, I got it. Then you can say something. But people are panicking. And let me tell you something. Telling the Refugee Assistance Agency that's working with you that something doesn't meet your standards because you're a good Christian, that doesn't matter. Nobody gives a crap. I'm sorry, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but nobody gives a crap whether you're a good Christian or a good Muslim or a good Buddhist. It has no bearing whatsoever on your refugee status. It has no bearing on where you go. If you're settled in a location that you're unhappy with, you have the prerogative to move. However, you lose the services that are made available to you at no cost for translation, for CV preparation, for job hunting, for transportation, for house hunting, for taking you to public transportation. All that you lose, okay? So, you need to temper your expectations. I think a couple of my viewers said it well yesterday. I don't care, unhappy, feeling unsafe in the States. It's a hell of a lot better than being dead in South Africa. So let's calm down. I mean, I'm getting lots of messages from people in the States, and much of it is just nonsense. They need to calm down. Some of it's legitimate, some of it's genuine. And in fact, I intervened on the case of one family that's in the South that was being neglected because someone didn't like them because of who they are. And so I contacted that organization and I asked, is this what you really represent? And to their credit, on a Sunday, they had a program manager call them. And after the program manager called them, people showed up with food, with money, and they're helping them get into a place this week. And then they wrote me a very long message and thanked me for my service and addressed my concerns. But I don't get paid for that. I don't have time to run that down for 100,000 refugees. So if you're in a bind and it's real, I'll try to help if I can. But last night, a couple different times, different people, I didn't get to bed till 3 a.m. because I was answering a couple different people's questions. And to be honest, a lot of it, people are just being Karens. They're just being Karens about a lot of things. People don't care about your problems, okay? They really don't. If you're being mistreated, that's a different story. If you're being neglected, different story. But if you just don't like the way things are, you need to lump it for a couple days and figure things out, okay? I'm sorry. Life isn't perfect. Anyway, so that's not directed at anyone or any specific thing. It's just an amalgamation of things that I've been getting. They don't sell them, Martin. That doesn't mean I don't have one of the sippy cups. All right, so they're going to send the Presidency, Department of Trade, Industry, and Competition have sent representatives who are preparing for the further formal negotiations. So the tariffs went into effect in August 8th. Trump delayed them for a month. He first announced them on April 2nd. May, June, July, August, September. After 5 months after Trump announced the tariffs, now the South Africans want to negotiate. Do you know where the queue is? It's down the block. Now it's down the block because you sat on your ample bums for too long. So you sat on your ass for 5 months, and now you have 30% tariffs. You want to cry about it. I cautioned you. I warned you. And you should have done something about it. So you should have gotten off your ass. 5 months. 5 months. Now you're at the back of the queue, behind Korea, behind the Swiss, behind the Indians, behind the Brazilians, behind everybody. There's probably no negotiators left in D.C. to spend time talking to South Africans who have to pay for 2 airline seats for their bums. Sorry, it's too late. They submitted a revised proposal for a trade deal a month ago. Well, you've been given the 4 preconditions before we'll talk about trade, and you're not addressing them. You won't even talk to Corny Mulder, who has it. So there you go. There you go. All right. The Labor Court has ruled in favor of the Pretoria Girls High principal in her grievance case. In July, the Gauteng Education Department suspended Philippa Erasmus from duty for 3 months without pay after finding her guilty of 2 charges. Of course, she wasn't guilty of those 2 charges. This is just racism in action. She lodged a grievance against the department, which was related to the allegations of intimidation and abuse from a department official, which is exactly what happened to her. And Richard Wilkinson covered this story. We saw what happened. We see what's happening. This is racial abuse. This is abuse of the government position. This is abuse of the courts to punish someone because of the racists in the Gauteng Department of Education didn't get the results they wanted. Black girls in the school conspired to racially discriminate against white girls and lie about what happened. The girls never did this. It never happened. They lied about it, got these girls who were prefects suspended from school, their reputations tarnished, their lives threatened, their families threatened. And then when they couldn't get the girls because they were innocent after a tribunal, then they went after the woman who was the principal. This is cloud cuckoo land. Cloud cuckoo land. Labor Court has given the Gauteng Department of Education 30 days to finalize a grievance. Victoria High School for girls principal Felipe Rasmus lodged against it. They got 30 days. According to a draft order handed down on Tuesday, the head of the department, Albert Chani, was ordered to implement and take all necessary steps to appoint an official of the department to consider, determine, and finalize the grievance. So this all started when 12 pupils were falsely accused by racist little black girls of racism. They got the messages from their WhatsApp and saw that early in the year they said, we're going to get these white girls because they're white. And they found a way. They found a way. Racism. By the way, whatever happened to those black girls who did that? Have they been suspended? Were they charged at the South African Capital Human Rights Commission to take a case against them? They want to take a case up against these 12 innocent white girls who did not a damn thing. And then I have to listen to puke-inducing garbage from people funded by my government from the Democracy Fund to write bullshit in South Africa about the problem with being white, the problem of whiteness. You can shove that where the sun don't shine till Tuesday. Nothing will happen to them. That's exactly right. Nothing will happen to them. I'm so sick of hearing these vile, repulsive people, black and white, mention this garbage. White people don't understand the hateful impact of being white. Hey, you know what? The bugger off bunny's not here, so you can read between the lines right there. And that's all crap anyway. Previously disadvantaged people. Like what? Zweli Mkhize? Went to primary school, went to secondary school, went to university, went to medical school, became a practicing physician. All of that in apartheid South Africa. Disadvantaged my ass. He wasn't disadvantaged. On August 2nd last year, the school announced that pupils had been found not guilty. Of course they were not guilty. They didn't do anything other than their little white girls who were easy targets for racists. The department then launched another probe to determine whether the school had a culture of racism. It released its summary of its findings and recommendations in November. But the department didn't launch an investigation to the black girls who lied and caused the stir in the first place and committed the crimes. The findings included school officials, Clear Rasmus, deputy principal responsible for discipline, 2 teachers, the state manager, and HR manager should be charged with misconduct. There was no misconduct here. Her husband worked for free cleaning the grounds, and they call that nepotism. Nepotism? He wasn't being paid. How is it nepotism? How is that nepotism? Unbelievable. The people committing nepotism can't even identify it. Dems now, head of the legal department, acting executive officer at SAOU, told News 24 that Rasmus lodged a formal grievance on October 4th, following officials' conduct after the racism report surfaced. He alleged the official arrived at the scene and allowed the pupils to hurl abuse at Rasmus and other teachers without stepping in to support and protect them. The official then proceeded to intimidate, threaten, and disciplinary steps and compel Rasmus to make certain statements to the school and instructed her to proceed with disciplinary steps. Yeah, no, they tried to make her kowtow to black supremacy. This is sick. Sick. This is as bad as the National Party. Just as bad. Well, folks, if you're a social media influencer, Mama Joy, are you out there? Hey, sweetheart, Mama Joy, have you filed for your in-kind compensation for the taxpayer funding your trips to France in 2023 for the Rugby World Cup? Did you file, Mama Joy? Did you file? Have you filed your taxes, Mama Joy? Because SARS wants your money. That's right. That's income, Mama Joy. That's right. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. You can't pull your black privilege card out here, a cater privilege card. No. SARS wants your money. You're a social media influencer, sweetheart. In South Africa, you're a South African citizen. You got to pay your taxes there, Mama Joy. Mama Joy. Mama Joy is not so happy now. Sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't. Because sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes you don't. Mama Joy, pay your taxes, sweetheart. Pay your taxes. Social media influencers must pay their tax just like everybody else. I find that funny. I pay my taxes. I don't really call myself social media influencer, though. Revenue Service SARS has urged social media influencers to declare their income for taxation. Those who use Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube promote a product or service. Well, I don't promote anything except the truth. I don't get paid for the truth. There's Mad Max. I don't get paid for the truth. But also, I'm not a South African, so I pay my tax man. Well, speaking of SARS, if you move overseas and you don't relieve yourself of that responsibility, they're going to come after you. Experts have once again warned that South Africans moving abroad must formally cease tax residency with SARS, or you're going to come after you. Yep. I didn't see Wolfman answer the question, Shelley. I missed that yesterday in its entirety. Yep. All right, what's next here? Inhumane, degrading, dangerous. The South African Human Rights Commission slams Panyazi Lesufi's eviction plans. Wait a second. The South African Human Rights Commission is concerned about people being evicted from informal settlements who are living there illegally, but lawful landowners who purchase their land under a majority black government of the ANC, well, they don't care if they're evicted from their land that they actually own legal title to. So it's okay to kick people out of farms and steal their land, but when the illegal squatters are there, it's inhumane. Ladies and gentlemen, the South African Captured Human Rights Commission strikes again. Oh my gosh, the concern for the illegals, people committing crimes. The South African Captured Human Rights Commission has condemned planned evictions by Gauteng Premier Panyazi Lesufi. Last week, he warned of evictions and dismantling of informal settlements in the province, citing government efforts to curb land invasions. The commission described Lesufi's plans as inhumane, degrading, and dangerous. Really? Inhumane, degrading, and dangerous. Would that be like the rape and murder of farmers and their families? Would it? Would it be? Or farm managers, farm workers? Yeah. The Constitution places human dignity, equality, and the right to adequate housing at the heart of our legal order. Section 26, paragraph 3 explicitly prohibits evictions without a court order. Well, human dignity. What about the colored flight attendants on Fly South Air? South African Human Rights Commission. Has Nobs Nkizi been sanctioned? Has she gone to remedial training to not be a racist? Has she paid a fine? Did she go to prison for undermining the dignity of those colored ladies who are flight attendants? Oh, for that matter, hey, has she been banned from aviation in South Africa for starting a violent tussle on a flight, endangering the safety of every passenger? No. No. We can't have that. She worked for the ANC. She was in the government at the time. Make this go under the carpet. Sweep it away. Sweep it away. Nobs Nkizi. Remember that? Talk about human dignity. Notobole. Human dignity. Telling us that white women are genetically inferior. They can't breed. Yet they went from 10,000 white people 10,000 years ago, or 8,000 years ago in Europe, to 1.3 billion white people on the planet today. Somebody doesn't know what breeding means. So you're there to protect the human dignity, are you, South African Captured Human Rights Commission? Why is your dignity selective? It doesn't help colored people, Indians, or whites. Yeah, Knobs is a total knob. Cyril Ramaphosa insists that deputy ministers play a critical role in governance. They do. Just look how far back the ministry has been set with the loss of Andrew Whitfield. That ministry has just collapsed. They can't do anything without Andrew Whitfield. Well, they weren't doing much with him there to begin with. Yeah, I know. It's 11 killed hours after police minister admits no plan to tackle gangs. Yep. Let me see if this thing came up yet. Give me a second here. If it's still spinning. It's still spinning. I guess it's going to spin the whole time. Anyway, so the chat's there. Is my chat up to date? There we go. Chat's looking really weird here. I'm not getting I'm getting minimal data coming through on that thing. So anyway. All right, as long as we got the stream going, that's what matters. Corné Mulder's very quiet. Corné's busy marshaling forces for something else, folks. If you owe SARS and leave South Africa, we'll take you to court, and then Interpol gets involved. Well, good luck with that. They're going to come after you for $5,000. They'll spend more money in court costs than they will ever getting you. If you owe them $1 million, that's a different story. If you owe them $5,000, they ain't going to get you. And the refugee program doesn't care about that. So Ramaphosa says that this was answering a question from Athol Trollope from Action SA. Athol Trollope was asking about the utility of having deputy ministers. Yes, given that the Republic's 42 deputy ministers cost the fiscus $287 million in salaries, $135 million in travel, and much more in VIP protection and housing, despite holding no executive authority, the cabinet intends to approve a constitutional amendment to abolish the position of deputy ministers. Also asked if deputy ministers would be retained as multi-million rand means of patronage that takes higher priority of the needs of unemployed. Oh, Ethel Trollope is swinging hard. Swinging hard. Seagull. And Ron Post said deputy ministers appointed in June of last year continue to add value to the work of government. What, like Andrew Whitfield? He's not in government anymore. Well, South Africa's Old Mutual took a 2 billion rand hit from its insurance dealings in failed Zimbabwe, and mixed results for the first 6 months of 2025. Yep. They lost 2 billion rand in Zimbabwe. Shame. The average age of the South African National Defense Force soldier is once again creeping up. Back in the early part of this century, I did some reporting on this in the intelligence community, talking about, oh, it's raining now, talking about how the average age of a South African soldier was ridiculously high because it's just a patronage program for the cadres and the so-called veterans from the Bush War and the Bantustan. And that the problem with all this, of course, is that it really doesn't help anybody. You can't have 45-year-old privates. So that was my my reporting and analysis on that years ago. Well, they did the basic skills development program, which is an intake, and that went up until 2011, and that brought some new blood and some younger South Africans, but no one's come in since 2011 for the most part. So the South African National Defense Force average age is 39. If you add in reserve forces, that number jumps to 46. Can you imagine having a private at the age of 39? Can you imagine having infantrymen who are 39 years old, you're expecting to hump a rucksack and, you know, and rescue the battle buddy on the battlefield? No wonder the SANDF is such a joke. Look, you can have older soldiers, leaders, senior NCOs, warrant officers, colonels, lieutenant colonels, generals. By the way, I did the math on the generals. You ready for this ratio, folks? Not only does South Africa have nearly as many generals as the U.S., it has more generals than we have. Did you know that? Did you know that? So the total number of United States general officers for our military is limited by law. Recent statutory caps are 218 generals for the Army, 62 for the Marine Corps, 170 for the Air Force, and 21 for the Space Force. So that's 280, 380, 450, 471 general officers for 1.3 million people. So let me do the math on that because I did the wrong math on it. So 470. So a little bit higher than the math I did. So why is my calculator? I hate this version of Windows. Windows 11 sucks. It's the worst thing since Windows XP. All right, so 1,300,000 soldiers divided by, I'm getting soaked here, divided by 471 generals. That's one general for every 2,700 soldiers. By comparison, the South African National Defense Force active duty force has 230 general officers. That's one for every 265 troops. One for every 265 troops. We have 10 times as many soldiers per general than the South African Defense Force. They have 230 generals in the Defense Force. That's more than my Army has. My Army has 475,000 troops. You have 61,000 in your total Defense Force, and you have more generals than my Army by a figure of 12. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Pathetic. Unbelievable. But there you go. It's just a patronage program. And you get the likes of idiots like Rudzani Mapaya, who goes to Iran and pretends he's a diplomat. My goodness. Anyway, so yeah, let's see if I can check on the chat here very quickly, and we'll get back to the news. Not sure if we can call it an army without insulting real armies. Yeah. The new heavy-duty carriers. Why? Because they weigh too much? Well, Chris, I can't get out of the rain because it was too hot in there and I wasn't getting a signal. I couldn't see the chat, so I moved out here. I'm a general on Call of Duty, says Napoleon. There's lots of ways to get green cards come to America, but they're expensive and time-consuming and involve lawyers. Yes, and the generals all look like beach whales. Most of them, anyway. Yep. What defense force? Windows 8, sitting in the corner trying to not get noticed. Courtney says, 45-year-old E5 in the Navy Reserve. Well, that's in the reserve forces. Reserve forces tend to have older personnel because they're experienced and they go to the reserves. But active duty forces should not have 39-year-old privates. No, not in your infantry force. If your infantry force is comprised of an entire squad of 40, 45-year-old privates, you've got a problem. I may have no choice but to move back inside because it doesn't look like it's going to break up. I was hoping it would just pass over quickly. Sand Def for unicorns, defending a little KFC branch. Well, what about over there? Let me see how that spot is. There's a umbrella over there. Let's take this show on the road again. Take my coffee. We're going to move. Although, honestly, I'm not getting that wet. Maybe I'll just stay here for a little bit longer. Hopefully, it'll just pass over. Anyway. Yes, Jan van Riebeck had a Navy that was larger than the South African Navy. More operational ships at the Cape of Good Hope when they arrived. Yep, that's a true story, folks. Pretty sad. Isaac Mpo Mahotsi wrote an op-ed, and I did a video on this last night in which he tries to rubbish Marco Rubio and claim that he's an opponent and a hater of South Africa. All right, pack your condo up there, Courtney. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, so this is yet more of South African media trying to rubbish the diplomatic relationship between the U.S. and South Africa. There's no reason for this nonsense. Come on, stop. Let me see. Is this rain going to stop? Jeez. Sunshine over there. It's just England, man. You can't find a dry spot. Oh, now the wind is changing. Of course. You got to love it, man. You got to love it. My laptop was down to 74%. Wow. All right, so that's our news on South Africa. Switching our attention to the rest of the continent. The ADF in the Congo and Uganda has killed 50 people in eastern DRC. Allied Democratic Forces, rebels using machetes killed more than 50 civilians at a funeral. People went to a funeral and they were hacked to death. Occurred Monday night in Toyo in North Kivu. I can confirm a provisional death toll of 50. The victims were called off guard at a mourning ceremony in the village around 9 p.m. Most of them were killed with machetes. Jeez. Unbelievable. Last month, they killed more than 50 civilians in multiple attacks, including a church that left 38 dead. Sick people. So the Islamic State escalates attacks on civilians in Niger. Islamic State-affiliated militants have stepped up attacks in western Niger, killing more than 127 people in 5 separate strikes since March and highlighting authorities' failure to protect civilians, according to Human Rights Watch. A report by the group provides the most detailed accounts available of attacks in the Sahel province, in the Tillabéri region. Oh my goodness. That's near the border of Burkina Faso and Mali, in the southwestern portion. Ethiopia has launched its GERD. Yes, the Grand Renaissance Dam. Huge hydropower project is up and running. But Egypt is not amused. They officially inaugurated Africa's largest hydroelectric dam yesterday, will provide millions of electricity that it didn't have before. And will deepen a long-standing rift between Egypt and Ethiopia. Second most populous nation on the continent with a population of 120 million sees the 5 billion Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, on a tributary of the River Nile as central to its ambitions for economic development. They started in 2011. The dam's power generation will eventually rise to 5.1 gigawatts from 750 megawatts that its 2 active turbines are currently producing. Prime Minister Abe, who led a crimes against humanity war against Tigrayans, said Ethiopia will use the energy to improve their access to electricity. Well, good luck with that. Yes. Egypt is not happy about the dam, and they never have been. It's really tainted relations. The U.S. has tried to intervene. Mali's army carried out airstrikes after militants announced a blockade on fuel imports. Mali's military said it carried out airstrikes on the gold-rich western region of Kayes after an al-Qaeda-linked militants took steps to impose a blockade on fuel imports. Why would you do that? Stupid people. Stupid people. Black pod disease has struck Cote d'Ivoire's cocoa region. Oh my goodness, that's not good. A fungal disease called black pod hit some of Ivory Coast's cocoa growing regions. It's the world's largest cocoa producer, and it's the rainy season right now. It runs from April to mid-November. The black pod disease was triggered by cool, overcast weather in August, but added it was too early to sound the alarm. But nonetheless, it's something to be concerned about. Cocoa is critical to Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana as well, neighboring Ghana. Yep. Yeah, what else do we have here? No immunity for terrorists. Israel refuses to apologize for its strikes in Qatar. Beijing on Wednesday said it strongly condemns Israel's deadly attack on Hamas political leaders in the Qatari capital Doha. China strongly condemns the attack and firmly opposes Israel's violation of Qatar's territorial sovereignty. We're deeply concerned the attack may further heighten regional tensions. Well, maybe Doha shouldn't have housed terrorists. Vanna Durant, the clouds are here, my friend. Got a call. Was that what it said? Got a call? Let me go back over here and check this out. Did you get a call? Did you get a call? Got a call from MIE. They will contact you and solve the issue. All right. For my 1 times 1 piece of your lawn, 1 meter by 1 meter at Lardard Sky. Thank you for the 99 Rand. Thank you for the 70 Rand at Vanna Durant. Wow, clouds are gathering. Clouds are gathering. Super chats are falling. The White House has rebuked Israel over the strike on Hamas and Qatar. Trump condemned the attacks, and analysts say his mixed messaging on the war emboldened Israel to take unilateral military action. President Trump on Tuesday condemned Israel's decision to strike a meeting of senior Hamas leaders in Qatar, blasting the Israeli leaders for hitting another close U.S. ally as he tried to broker an end to nearly 2 years of war. Well, so you can't say Trump didn't say something about it, because he did. He was among the first to say. He said, I'm not thrilled about it. I'm not thrilled about the whole situation, not a good situation, but I will say this. We want the hostages back. We're not thrilled about the way that went down. The European Union is proposing suspending trade agreement with Israel over that strike. Sanctions on extremist ministers and violent settlers will also be put forward, says Ursula von der Leyen. The European Union plans to propose a partial suspension of the trade agreement with Israel as pressure piles on the institution to take harder line on Gaza. We will propose sanctions on extremist ministers and violent settlers. What is happening in Gaza is shaking the conscience of the world. But the murder of 1,200 innocent civilians who were raped, beheaded, slaughtered, babies put in microwaves, that didn't get the world's conscience? Really? Really? That didn't shake the world's conscience? Spare me. Spare me, European turds. Trump is pushing the European Union to slap a 100% tariff on China and India. Steep tariffs will be part of a joint effort to pressure Russia to end its war in Ukraine. So President Trump has urged European Union to slap 100% tariffs on China and India. Wow. Financial Times was the first to report the news. Said Trump indicated he was prepared to impose steeper tariffs on China and India, 2 major buyers of Russian oil, if Europe did as well. Well, imagine that. 100% tariffs. That would go somewhere. Australia and Fiji are a step closer to a major security deal. China trying to spread their wings into the South Pacific, but Australia and the United States actively trying to counter that. After leaving Vanuatu empty-handed, Australia's Prime Minister had better luck in Fiji in locking in a security deal to block out Beijing. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is a step closer to signing off on a security deal with Fiji after a less than successful trip to Vanuatu the day earlier. Today we agreed to negotiate a new security treaty as part of our shared vision of a secure and prosperous Pacific. They first signed the agreement back in 2019. They're going to update it now. And the chaos continues in Nepal. There's Betts Haynes with 140 Rand super chat as the clouds continue to gather. And the sun is over there. Bring the sun here. Thank you for the 140 Rand. John Hoochin checking in from Arizona. Man, good to see you there. Jesse in Arizona disappeared. Good to see you, John. So, the Nepali army is deployed to restore order after the violent protests taking place there. Of course, this all took place after social media and 19 people killed by security forces. The military says it was forced to step in to protect people and properties after demonstrators turned deadly. Well, they burned the houses of former members of government. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. After violent protests in Nepal toppled the country's prime minister, the Nepali army deployed its troops to enforce a nationwide curfew in a bid to stop violence and vandalism from spiraling. Wow. So things are not looking good there in Nepal. Poland says it shot down Russian drones that had entered its airspace. Polish military called the incursions an act of aggression, adding that NATO air forces had launched warplanes to respond. Well, there you go, man. So NATO shooting down Russians' drones coming into their airspace. They said they shot down Russian drones that entered the airspace during a huge attack of targets across the border in Ukraine. First time Russian drones have been shot down over the territory of a NATO country. We're dealing with large-scale provocations, said Donald Tusk, the prime minister. The situation is serious, and no one doubts that we must prepare for various scenarios. Well, that's not good. NATO air forces, including Poland's, launched warplanes and ground-based air defenses on high alert, and that Dutch F-35 fighters had taken part in the response. No immediate report of casualties in Poland. Well, that's not good. The Russians flying over Polish airspace. Hey, France has got a new prime minister. Emmanuel Macron, the man who gets pimp slapped by his wife, has named loyalist Le Cornu as the new prime minister. How come all these Frenchmen aren't French? Remember Sarkozy? That's not French. That's a Russian emigre. Now we have Le Cornu. That sounds Romanian, and he looks Romanian. He doesn't look very French to me. French President Emmanuel Macron named loyalist Sébastien Lecornu, a one-time conservative protege, as prime minister, defying expectations that he might tack towards the left. The 39-year-old former defense minister has some ties to Marine Le Pen, and so the thought is that Le Pen's party will continue to support Macron. We shall see. So it looks like the French government is not collapsing, despite reports that it would be. Well, it is blocked everything. The French are acting like children, whiny little children, and they've got a planned shutdown in France, which will affect transit in and around Paris. It's dovetailing with the tube strike in London. Did you know that? French workers angry about austerity measures proposed by former Prime Minister Francois Bayrou, who's no longer there, whose government collapsed on Monday, are planning to strike today, a move that will bring the country to a near standstill. The fall of the government is good, but it's insufficient, Sud Rail major trade union said in a post on Twitter. The union, the third largest rail union in France, whose members mostly work for the national railway company Société Nationale des Chemins de Fer Français, that doesn't sound right, urges members and public to strike. Well, it dovetails with the London Underground strike. So great, it's screwing the public. France has fined Google nearly $380 million for inserting cookies and ads between emails. Man, that's some expensive-ass cookies. $380 million for cookies? I mean, that's cray-cray, folks. $380 million for cookies? The Cookie Monster, cookies. Cookie Monster, love that, man. $380 million for cookie fine. The $380 million cookie fine. That's just crazy. Hey, Monza. Future Safa. Okay. You're going to South Africa, everybody else is leaving. Trump had warned nations that they would be hit with additional tariffs for discriminatory digital tax and regulation of U.S. tech companies. So France may find itself on the back end of that after imposing that fine. Yep. They fined Google for displaying advertisements between emails without their consent and placing cookies when creating Google accounts. Google doesn't need your consent to put ads on their platform. It's their platform. It's their technology. They give it to you for free. They don't have to. This is a bogus ruling by the French court. Look, I don't want ads in my email, but you can pay to avoid them. So this is nonsensical. France is going to be sorry they did that. So watch their tariffs go from 15% upwards now. You watch. Yep. Based on investigations, they issued 2 fines totaling 325 million euros against Google and its Irish subsidiary and ordered the companies to cease displaying in-mail ads and placing ad cookies during account creation without valid user consent. Well, the cookie placement, you have to have consent, so that they can fine them for. But putting ads in there, you can't fine them for that. Failing this, the companies will each have to pay a penalty of 100,000 euros per day of delay. Google was found to display ads in the form of emails under the promotions and social Gmail tabs. While creating a new account, users were not clearly informed that deposit of advertising cookies was a prerequisite for accessing the service. The fines reflect the number of Gmail users residing in France. 53 million individuals had illegally seen the ads in Gmail tabs. The cookie breach concerned more than 74 million accounts, according to the regulator. Google said people have always been able to control the ads they see in our products. Over the last 2 years, they've even acknowledged we made additional updates to address their concerns, but they still find them. Yep, U.S. tech companies are often found in breach of European laws because European laws are censorship and fascist. That's why. Yep. They've gone after Google, Meta, Microsoft, and even TikTok. And of course, the EU's bogus bullshit hate speech and misinformation laws run contrary to the First Amendment of the United States. And they're not enforceable. Trump's warned he'll put additional tariffs for people that are trying to punish our tech companies. Well, as I said, hundreds have blocked everything. More than 80,000 police were deployed as demonstrators rallied against Macron's government today. Excuse me. French police arrested hundreds of people as protests led by left-wing forces under the label "Block Everything" were launched across the country. More than 200 people reported had been arrested in the early morning hours as demonstrators set fire to rubbish bins and blocked highways. None of that's necessary. Those are just criminals. It's not legitimate protest. Not legitimate protest. Well, the Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court has allowed President Trump to freeze $4 billion in foreign aid. Chief Justice John Roberts allows the Trump administration to freeze the aid while the High Court decides whether to take up an emergency appeal. Trump administration attorneys asked the High Court Monday to lift the lower court's preliminary injunction requiring it to allocate $10.5 million for food, medicine, and development before the funds begin expiring at the end of the fiscal year. The administration says it plans to spend $6.5 billion but wants to claw back $4 billion. Now remember that in the first Trump administration, the Demon Rats lied about Trump and said that he failed to give military assistance to Ukraine, that he held the money up, which never happened. That money had to be dispersed by September 30th. In early August, there was a question about whether Ukraine was complying with the agreement, so they held them up for a few days, and then the Democrats jumped on it and said that they're violating the law. There's no law violated. That money must be expended by 30 September, and it was, and those things were delivered. But the Democrats now see, here's what Trump does. Trump asked the court to allow him to do that. He doesn't act in a rogue fashion. Once again, you know, it's funny how all this talk about Trump is lawless, he's a dictator, but he's always going to the courts to get a reversal on decisions. A dictator doesn't go to the courts, he defies the courts. So, you know, they're full of crap. And you know why? All of them have brown eyes. Yep. So he went to the Supreme Court. Now he's moving to restrict drug advertising. I'll tell you what, folks, if he does, it's going to kill commercial television. Absolutely kill it. Because, I mean, all the commercials are black people, lesbians, and white women married to black men, and some few Asians. That's in all these commercials. All of them have erectile dysfunction. They all have eczema. They all have, you know, leukemia. All these black people, Asians, lesbians, and white women married to black men. Apparently, white men don't get eczema. They don't get liver cancer. They don't need Skyrizi. Only black people and lesbians and gays and Asians and white women married to black guys. The only ones that ever get it. None of the white men ever get these diseases. But if they end the advertising, I mean, how will they then enrich this group of, you know, formerly oppressed, you know, actors who can't get jobs in advertising? What will Madison Avenue do when they have no advertising for erectile dysfunction or, you know, itchy hair disease or, you know, sudden eyebrow movement disease? You know, I mean, that's most of the ads. I mean, there are no car commercials on television anymore. There are no cereal commercials on television anymore. There are no white men on television anymore. Oh, did I mention there's no white men? Yeah, I forgot to mention that part. Yep. So the medical advertising will destroy commercial TV. Trump is proposing return 1990s era policy that kept most drug ads off TV. That could dent the revenue of drug makers and major networks. Indeed. Yep, you want to revive a decades-old policy. It's likely to sharply reduce advertising. Yep. The proposal would effectively reverse the 1997 policy change that opened the floodgates to a deluge of TV drug advertising. Is likely to be aggressively opposed by the drug industry. No doubt. Yep. Well, that's what you get when you take when white men stop having erectile dysfunction. This is the problem. You lose the ads. Apparently, we don't have erectile dysfunction about white men. Incomes rose and poverty fell last year, but Americans feel tapped out because the media lie. Market Watch says census numbers show the middle class is tapped out. Americans' incomes inched higher last year and fewer people slipped into poverty, according to the Census Bureau. Tuesday's data showed American incomes generally kept up with inflation, but didn't do much more than that. The median household income climbed to $83,730 last year, up from $82,000. Broadly speaking, the income numbers tell a story of stability, but not necessarily growth. $83,700 is the average income for a family of four. $83,000. All right, now it's a big country, but that's a median income, $83,000. Ladies and gentlemen, $83,000. Oops. $83,000 times 19. That is 1,577,000 Rand per year the average American family takes home. Average family of 4. 1,577,000 rand. With an unemployment rate under 4%, with 11 million, 13 million jobs open, yet people are asking me as refugees, will I be able to get a job in America? Low IQ. Explain yourself. How does Trump show authoritarian tendencies? Be on the alert for a troll here, team. Don't take him out yet. So please show us how he shows authoritarian tendencies. Please. Trump was directed by a court to restore aid that he has full legal authority to suspend. Rather than ignore the court, he went to the higher court and asked for them to intercede. That's not an authoritarian tendency. That's submission to the Constitution. Explain yourself, low IQ. Explain yourself. Explain yourself. We have 403 likes. You can hit that like button, folks. Doesn't cost anything but a moment of your time. All right, where are we at here? The rain left, so we're okay now. So a court has ruled that Lisa Cook can remain as a Federal Reserve Governor amid dispute with the administration, even though she is credibly accused of fraud, financial fraud, not just fraud, financial fraud. And she's allowed to stay as a governor. How did he explain himself? I don't see any explanation. He said Trump has authoritarian tendencies. That's the last thing he said. It's the last thing he said. Nope, he's not here. Not showing up in my chat. So the court has said that she can stay. A federal judge Tuesday night temporarily blocked President Trump from firing Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. That's an illicit use of the courts. Late night order from federal judge Gia Cobb came 2 weeks after Trump said he fired the governor. In her order, Cobb issued a preliminary injunction, which is a procedural step in a lawsuit whereby a judge orders a party to do, or oftentimes in this case not do something, pending result of litigation. That often means the judge thinks the plaintiff's case will likely succeed in the merits. No, she has no basis. He has the sole firing and hiring authority for those governors. Yep. Yep. Her alleged misconduct exhibits a sort of gross negligence in financial transactions that calls into question her competence and trustworthiness. Yep. She lied when purchasing homes and got discounted loan rates and purchased multiple homes that weren't her primary residence. She lied. She lied. So why should she be overseeing our financial resource in our country? 3 properties, a home in Michigan, a condo in Atlanta, and a condo in Massachusetts. She's not been indicted or convicted of any crimes. She says the allegations are unproven. I think the feds have proven them. She owns 3 homes, and the loan paperwork, she claimed they were her primary residences. I think they've been proven wrong. Trump administration is focused on 3 properties, a home in Ann Arbor, a condo in Atlanta, and a condo in Cambridge. All 3 had loans taken out in 2021. Cook is confirmed to the Federal Reserve Board in 2022. A distinguished economist, she previously held posts at Michigan State and Harvard's Kennedy School of Government. She took out a 15-year, $361,000 mortgage on the condo in Cambridge. The lender was Bank Fund Staff Federal Credit Union. Documents include a second home rider. A document specifies how lenders and borrowers expect homes to be used. That information is relevant because second homes typically get higher mortgage rates than primary residences since they're seen as riskier assets. In June 2021, she took out a $203,000 loan on a home in Ann Arbor. The 15-year mortgage was issued by the University of Michigan Credit Union. It does not include additional documents like a home rider. In July 2021, she took out a 30-year, $540,000 mortgage on a property in Atlanta. The lender was also Bank Fund Staff Federal Credit. Similar documents do not include a second home rider. Vanner Durant, 350 Rand. Thank you very much. Clouds are gathering. Thank you for that, Vanner. Yeah, so in disclosures, the Cambridge property includes a mortgage for an investment rental property 2.5%, which was less than the 3.25% going rate. Anyway, yep. So she's committed fraud, according to those statements. Oracle, Larry Ellison's company stock is surging. They had their best day since 1999. Wow. They fell short of expectations with latest revenue and earnings, but that didn't matter to Wall Street. Oracle Chief Executive Safra Katz said in a statement the cloud giant signed 4 multi-billion-dollar contracts in the first quarter, resulting in $455 billion in remaining performance obligations. Shares of Oracle surged 28% in extended session on Tuesday. Wow. The first time that a U.S. company with a $500 billion market capitalization saw its stock gain more than 25% in a single day. That's incredible. Their cloud infrastructure revenue is expected to reach $18 billion this year. That's crazy. It's a lot of quan, folks. And Klarna, the Swedish company, is having its IPO, initial public offering, and they're going to value with them at over $15 billion. Initial IPO will be at $40 per share. There's a lot of interest in it. Online payments provider Klarna said its initial public offering price above its previously estimated range amid strong demand, boosting its valuation to more than $15 billion. They said late Tuesday its IPO price of $40 a share was above what they were going to get at 35 or 37. Shares will start trading on New York Exchange today. Founded in 2005, the Swedish-based company is best known for buy now, pay later lender. It's been making a push to become a fully fledged bank, recently launching products such as U.S. debit card in partnership with Visa. They're slated to become exclusively buy now, pay later provider Walmart in the U.S. Introduced on eBay and will begin rolling out services on Nexi, WorldPay, and JP Morgan Payments in coming months. That's a lot of money. 15 billion IPO, man. That's a lot. You can do a lot with that. 15 billion, I'm telling you. Thank you, Vanner, for the 350 Rand. What's my laptop doing here? 56%. All right. So how are we doing there, folks? What is low IQ saying? Looks like a lot of U.S. farmers are going under due to tariffs. No, it doesn't. Name a farmer. Tell me how many farmers are going under due to tariffs. How are U.S. farmers going under due to tariffs? Dude, it doesn't even make sense. Why would U.S. farmers be going under due to tariffs? U.S. farmers export things. They're not importing anything for their farms. We buy our tractors from John Deere, manufactured in America. We buy our oil from American companies. We buy our seeds from American companies. We buy our fertilizer from American companies. Why would U.S. farmers be going under because of tariffs? That doesn't make any sense. Dude, if you're going to troll, at least say something that makes sense. It doesn't make any sense. No, there's no news on the AFD desk, Garrett. The Nazis also went to the court meeting. Oh, fuck off, low IQ. You're such a child. You're such a child. You've been given a lot of rope. You're going to be a little dickhead. Keep it up. Stupid little children got nothing better to do. Exactly, Daniel Whitfield. That's the thing. Leftists throw accusations when asked to explain a proof. Crickets. Exactly. So my chat's coming in slow here. Guys, just stop engaging with low IQ. He's explained, I mean, his username explains what he's all about, low IQ. Anyway, this is typical leftist dribble. They can't come up with anything, so they try this crap. They got nothing to say. They got no useful nonsense to add to the conversation. Or they only have nonsense, excuse me. They have nothing useful to say. Wow, this is a really slow connection. Let me try to switch back to my phone. Let me try to see if that's better now. Where's my phone at? Why is it not showing up? My phone is not showing up here. Come on. Okay, I got 3 bars. Oh, the mobile hotspot shut off. Well, why did it do that? I didn't ask for that to happen. Huh. Where is my... Why is it not showing up? That's weird. Huh. That's weird. It's not identifying my phone properly. I'm trying to go to Zoom. What the hell is that? What the hell is going on here? Why is my Wi-Fi not showing up? There it is, finally, it came up. Good Lord, that took a long time. Okay, I'm connected now. Let's see if I can't get my data going. Very strange. Network's acting really funky today. It took me 3 attempts to send a video to the Truth Report earlier. I lost a lot of data. I loaded a 300 megabyte file like 3 times. Okay, that's not getting me anywhere. There's no data there. Let me try something else here. I saw another Wi-Fi that says it was open. Let's see if I can't get to that one. Okay, come on. Let's try that. Okay. All right, here comes the rain again. Isn't that special? Just when I thought I was safe. Starts again. Hello, Cookie. Okay, that's not connecting. Wow, what's going on here? It's terrible. Oh my goodness. Let's try this again. Oh, you know what? God bless it. Damn it. Stop it. Give my damn mouse back. Yeah, you should not be... Stop. That's the problem. The stupid thing is trying to... VPN is really pissing me off. Okay. Now let's see if we can go somewhere. Okay, just when you thought it was safe to go outdoors. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, now I'm back. Let's see if I can't get it. Okay. Nope, that's not working either. Oh my gosh, this is the third world. I swear to God, it's really the third world. It truly is. Nothing works here. Wow, it's like living in 1996. 1996. Stop connecting to the frickin' VPN, you prick. I disabled it and it still connects. Why won't this site connect? Still getting the chat. Maybe it's the website. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the connection. But anyway, enough of that. Just trying to get to. Yeah, I'm in England, Stan. Yep. Betty, 2 months. Thank you for your membership. Appreciate that. This is what trolls do. They spread assumption. They can't. Exactly. That's what they do. They spread assumption. They got no proof. You know. So what does that mean? Trump has authoritarian tendencies. What, like Biden? He disregarded the law, violated the Constitution. Yeah, it's just like South Africa. Nothing works. Nothing works. Try it one more time. No, there's something wrong with the website, I think. That website. Maybe somebody's hacked it. It's all the family in Zimbabwe. No, is this VPN come on again? No, it's not. Okay. I'll close it. So I don't know why. I have Nord for VPN, but I have it. You can't turn on automatically, but it's doing automatically. It's like Microsoft. It does what the hell it wants to do. So anyway, now the network is fine. So it's not the network. I think there's something wrong with that other website I'm trying to get to. Yeah, there's something wrong with Suno. Something's wrong. Your site is down. Anyway, Paris protests become rather stiff. Yes, they have. That's why we talked about it earlier. Philip Holtz, News 24, published a new article about Amerikaners. Really? Okay. Well, I got my news more than 3 hours ago from News 24, so I was recording. See genocide case Israel through, says Ronald Lamola. I see nothing on the main page about Walmart. Oh, there it is. Well, they're a little late to the mix here. Amanda Koza is covering the story. State Department is partnering with Amerikaners to help identify eligible candidates. South Africa Rejection Initiative calling it Apartheid 2.0. That's because South Africa is run by racists. Program bypass South African government support. Well, no, it doesn't bypass. We don't need South African government support. It's our refugee program. What a bunch of dumbasses. Okay. Meanwhile, the embassy warned the public be aware of people claiming to be coordinating with the U.S. government to assist moving their pets. This is a story I covered on Monday. Here it is Wednesday, and they're finally getting around to it. So let me repeat what Ronnie Lamola said, because Amanda Koza puts it in their story here. We view this as a fast-tracking process for immigration in the United States, and it is the right of any state to facilitate entry of their country and so forth. But then the context of South Africa's new refugee program that fits the definition of the UN Convention. See, Ronald Lamola is about as dumb as a box of rocks. Dumb as a box of rocks. Refugee status is based on past persecution or a legitimate fear of future persecution. United States Immigration and Nationality Act of 1980, a sovereign nation, addresses that based on UN conventions, which are the basis for U.S. law. So Ronald Lamola doesn't know what the conventions are. I've cited the UN conventions and told you what the language says, which says almost verbatim what I've just said. So Lamola is full of a box of rocks in his head and crap coming out of his mouth. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And the fact that anybody listens to this clown, who was a failed justice minister, now a failed foreign minister, is comical. He said, therefore, it cannot be defined as refugee program. We don't give a shit what you think about it, Ronald Lamola. Just like you don't care what the United States says about your farm murders, or about your gangsterism, or about your construction mafia, or your taxi industry mafia. We don't care what you say. It is a refugee program under our law. And you are very fond of whining about, we're a sovereign nation. They're trying to impinge on our rights. America's trying to tell us what to do. But this is our law. We're a sovereign nation. And we adhere to the United Nations protocols on refugees. These people are legitimate refugees. YouTube recommended this. Really, skeptic? Wow, I find that hard to believe. Thank you for being here, though. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. Why are you a skeptic? What are you skeptical about? He said it's a preferential treatment of Afrikaners in South Africa and the U.S. Now, see, this shows how stupid Ronald Lamola is. Once again, go to the U.S. Embassy website. I have shown this to you a million times. And, Amanda Koza doesn't even refute this. She just quotes him. See, a real journalist would say, the foreign minister said this. However, the U.S. program says this. Having gone to the U.S. Embassy website, this is what it says. Let me find it here. Is it the right slide? You must be South African nationality and must be of Afrikaner ethnicity or be a member of a racial minority in South Africa. Therefore, Charlie Brown, you are wrong. Ronald Lamola, you are wrong. It has nothing to do with Afrikaners. You are a liar, liar, pants on fire. It is Ronald Ozzy Pinocchio. That nose growing. He says, we have no duty or obligation to help the program. No, you don't, and we don't want your help. We don't want your help. Also, don't need you to come back to America behaving like a fool. Sitting there cackling when people are singing Kill the Boer on screen. Yep. Well, at least we have electricity. Yes, he's as useful as the ejector seat in a submarine. Why are you asking the same question? I've answered this question 10,000 times, and you've been here when I've answered it. There is no timeline. Now listen to your white minister. Okay, Ronaldo is in 5 minutes. Let me see if he sent me a link. Okay, did Ronaldo send me a link? He did. All right, I got to drop off, folks. Thanks for being here. Be sure to hit the like button before you leave. Did we get to 500 likes? I can't see that. Yep. Nope, 495. Come on, guys, hit the like button. Doesn't cost anything but a penny. A moment of your time, right? That's it, free. All right, yeah, I've definitely got no bandwidth in this thing and nothing's coming through. All right, thank you guys very much. What part of Africa is he from? All right, be sure to hit the like button. 497, come on. You can join me on Ronaldo if you want. Let me see if I can direct people there. If I can load it, because I can't get to anything on this damn laptop with this going on here. This is upcoming. It doesn't even show this stream. What's going on there? Oh, there we go. It was an old thing. So customization. God bless it. The mouse is just not playing nice on this table. It's an uneven surface. Okay, redirect. There we go. I have to search for the damn thing. You got to get it just right or it won't play nice. Okay. All right, Ronaldo Jose. I don't want it with Byron. I want it with me. There you go. For the 400 plus people who are still here, if you want, you can join me over there. All right, so I'll be joining Ronaldo in just a minute. See you at Ronaldo. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hitting the like button. Thanks for the super chats. Be well. Cheers.